Twon, the used car Don. Welcome to my channel. Man, I've been like hesitating to do this video for a minute, but like I wanted to let you guys know, like I'm posting all these videos, throwing all these videos at you, and not even letting you know who I am and what I do and what is my purpose. My purpose is I'm a used car mechanic, and you might be asking, what is a used car mechanic? Well, a used car mechanic is like every dealership should have a used car mechanic, but a lot of them don't. The purpose of a used car mechanic is once a customer trades that vehicle in, someone has to inspect that vehicle and get that vehicle to a standard in order for that dealership to resell it. And that's where I come in. That's my job as a used car mechanic. So all my copper to drop it videos are actually real inspections that I'm doing right there on the spot for you guys to see, like, should you buy this car or shouldn't you buy this car? And the purpose of that is to show you that certain cars have common problems. Certain cars have certain issues that pretty much most of them do have. And that's the purpose of being a used car mechanic. So when you go purchase a used vehicle, ask the dealership, do they have a used car mechanic? Because if they don't, you may not want to buy a vehicle from that place. And I'll tell you why. But first, let me show you, I guess you're wondering, well, what made you want to be, like, what's your qualifications to be a used car mechanic? Well, I first started being a mechanic when I was like 18. My mom said, hey, you want a car? I was like, yeah, I want a car. She said, well, you can have that car in the backyard. And in the backyard was a 1978 Z28 Camaro. Ironically, I was born in 1978. Kind of telling you my age. I know, you might think I'm young, but no. So that car was a totally piece of crap. And I had to get it running. At that moment, I didn't know anything about being a mechanic. So I got with a local friend that knew something about being a mechanic. And I want to be completely honest with you guys. It sounds a little bad, but he was a crackhead. Don't worry about why I was friends with a crackhead. That's another story. But he was a good crackhead. I don't know if it is a good crackhead, but he knew the ins and outs. You know what I'm saying? He knew the basics, and he knew that I needed a battery, a distributor, and spark plugs and all this to get this car running. Like, a lot of people don't know anything about distributors these days. So once I got those things done and put a new oil change and spark plugs in it, it ran, but it still ran like crap. So at that point, my sole purpose at that time, at the 18, was to get that car running. So I noticed that the local community college had an automotive technology, you know, degree. So I went there not to necessarily work on anybody else's vehicle. I went there to only work on my vehicle. And that's exactly what I did. I rebuilt the engine, got it running, and in 2 years, I kind of worked on some other people's cars. But hey, at the time, this was in the South, so we primarily drank a lot of beer in class too. But so after 2 years, I finished. I got my associate's degree right here, automotive technology, telling about where I went. And after that, I really didn't be a mechanic. I actually went dishwashing at a little local truck stop. Yeah, I know. So I did that for a little bit, and I kept hitting the dead end with these little rinky-dink jobs. And like, you know what? I'm going to join the military. And once I joined, I met the recruiter. Recruiter's like, so what do you do? Or what can you do? I like, hey, I got this degree here to be a mechanic. It's like, all right, we're going to make you a all-wheel vehicle mechanic. So after 10 years, I served in the military, 10 years, Iraq, Afghanistan, as a mechanic. And when I got out, that was pretty much all I primarily knew how to do, was be a mechanic. And that's what I did. So I went back to my hometown in Mississippi at a Toyota dealership. This has got to be in like 2000 and I want to say 13-ish, because after I initially got out, I went to Afghanistan as a contractor and working on the vehicles there too. I should have a picture for this right here. And after that, I went to the small little dealership in Mississippi. And that's when a Toyota dealership. And first I started off as a lube tech. I'm like, okay, I'm better than this. So let me start being a service tech. A service tech is when you bring your car in, and for an issue, it's my job to either like identify the issue or probably find more issues. That's what service technicians do. I'm not taking shots at you, service technicians. I understand your hustle. I actually respect your hustle, but not really. But, so after doing that, it was this one particular customer. They always say it only takes one event to change your life. And that one event was this cute, I'm going to say cute, girl that came through, and she needed front and rear brakes on her Camry at the time. And she looked at me and said, I can't pay for front and rear brakes. And I'm like, you shouldn't have to, because $400, in all honesty, is at the time, like this is in like 2013, 2014, a lot of money for front and rear brakes. So at that time, I knew I didn't necessarily really want to be a service mechanic, because I didn't want to charge customers, because I knew one thing: customers were just people just like me, and I didn't want, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be overcharged. And I'm not saying overcharged, but I didn't want to be charged that much. And I didn't want to charge people that much. So I didn't. So at that time, like every dealership has used cars. So as customers trade in used cars, like you said, we fix them to standard. That dealership in particular didn't have a used car mechanic, but so they let all the service technicians do it on their downtime. And the service technicians would give it to the lube techs, and the lube techs, which work hourly, would, do the work for the service technicians and let the service technicians get flagged for the work. So that's why I say, if there's not a used car mechanic present, don't purchase a car from that dealership, because you're going to get just like, they're like money items. You know what I'm saying? Because most used car, like service technicians, when they get a used car, it's a money ticket. It's going to have brakes, you got all this stuff on it. And a lot of times that they don't need, they fix money items and they don't do what the car actually needs. And that is, that's what the purpose of having a used car mechanic. So after that, I left Mississippi, went to Atlanta, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to be a mechanic, period. I don't want nothing to do with the dealership world, because the dealership world is full of different animals, different people that I'm not like necessarily used to being with. So I went to, aviation college, and guess what? Boom. That's when I got my aviation certification. And necessarily I didn't really want to do that either. So at the same time I was doing aviation mechanic school for 2 years, I was actually being a used car mechanic at Toyota again. So it's like, no matter how I tried to run, I kept coming back to Toyota. But I knew as that purpose as used car mechanic, I feel like I had a purpose, because I wasn't charging the customers, for my repairs. I was charging the dealer for my repairs, for the repairs. So the things I was doing was making sure that the vehicle reached the customer, and once the customer got it, it had almost no issues. Like, no person's going to find everything, but I guarantee you one thing: I will not let a car pass me with an oil leak. If a car has an oil leak and the dealership don't repair it, that car is not going to get put on the lot. And luckily, the dealership I work at, they stand by me on oil leaks. I mean, because you can't sell a car with an oil leak. So that's the purpose of a used car mechanic. So that led me to where I'm at now, Sunshine State, Florida. You get a lot of oranges, and that's what I do. I've been in this position for 10 years, and I ensure that the customers get a vehicle that doesn't have issues. Yes, some slide through the cracks, but my job is to make sure you get the vehicle that you deserve and you need. And guess what? So my carpenter dropping vehicle videos are vehicles that you should buy or you shouldn't buy. Now keep in mind, this channel is not for you tech heads. So you're coming around saying this guy doesn't fit specifications and yada yada numbers and all that. This is not what that channel is for. There's plenty of channels on YouTube that will, accommodate your needs. Mine is for the normal, everyday consumer that wants to buy a car, that doesn't know anything about a car, and a certain car in particular, if they want to buy it. Hopefully, I want to do these carpenter droppers every week of random vehicles that you can purchase. But keep in mind, you won't see a Mercedes Benz. You won't see a BMW, because to me, normal people, regular people shouldn't buy those vehicles. Those are immediately drop it. So if you see one, I'm just doing it for fun or just to prove my point that you shouldn't purchase these cars. Those are love it and lease it and leave it. and they'll end up at like a buy here, pay here. So that's the purpose of this channel. So follow me on this journey. Bear with me on this journey because it's going to be a long one, and I'm going to be there for you like Uncle Sam. So welcome to Twon, the used car Don.